welcome to Morella 5 Yoga, Yoga for All. Take a good sitting position and sit tall. Press your sit bones into the floor. To ground ourselves and centre ourselves, we're going to open with 3 ohms. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. Exhale. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Open your eyes, release your hands. So my word of the day is vulnerability. And I was looking it up in the dictionary this evening. It says, exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed either physically or emotionally. And then David White, you might know of him, he's a writer and a poet and so on, he says that it's not something we can arrange to do without vulnerability. It's an underlying, ever-present undercurrent of our natural state. So we all have our vulnerabilities. And while I was preparing this class, I was thinking about a situation where I was vulnerable. And this is really a classic one. Some years ago, we were away on a holiday in Newquay in Devon, and we had all just come in from surfing, and we were showering, and I was the only one in the girls' shower, women's shower, and I had some of my kids that were with me. There might have been 7, 8, 9, and a bunch of schoolgirls came in, and I was naked and I was washing my hair, and one of them decided that she would get stuck into me and start calling me names and what an awful body I had and so on, because it was a communal shower and there was nothing I could do with it. I had shampoo in my hair and it was going into my eyes, and I thought, I'll just say nothing, and her mates all left and she kept at it. She was only a 15 or 16-year-old girl, you know, and I was cornered, and I was never more vulnerable, never more. So I thought, well, what do I do? Am I going to crumple under this, or what do I do about it? She left eventually. I dressed as quick as possible, and I said, those girls had to be on a bus, must have been a school tour. So I went down to the car park and spotted them in a restaurant just beside the bus car park. Walked into the restaurant, spotted the wee girl, and walked over, and there was about 40 or 50 people in the restaurant, and in as loud a voice as I could manage, I said, were you the girl who was, and I gave her an earful, but so that the whole restaurant could hear, and it ended up that the whole place was tittering and laughing at her, and I turned and walked out, so turned the tables on her. However, so what did it take for that? And what it takes to be with our vulnerabilities is, one is to accept them and say, right, that's where I'm vulnerable. That's where, if someone turned the screws on me, that's where they'll get me. To accept it, invite it in, and then have the courage to do something about it or deal with it. So in this day and age, you know, all of us here at this class tonight, we will all have our own vulnerabilities, and mine will be different from yours, and yours will be different from the next person. But they're all there, and it doesn't take very much just to turn the screw a little bit to find out what it is that gets to you. So it's owning our vulnerabilities, really owning them with courage, and then deciding who you be with this. So during this time of COVID, many of us are conscious about our health. Many of us are conscious of, particularly our younger people, are conscious about their social life. So it's turning in, owning that you may be frustrated, angry, lonely, lost, unsure, and so on, due to this whole COVID business, really owning it and saying, right, this is how it is. I'm not going to escape it, I'm not going to run away, this is how it is, and own it, and go from that point. But to get there, takes courage, and to do that, we're going to do something this evening called the ocean breath. So the ocean breath enables us to gather our courage, to gather our strength, to be with the situation as it's occurring in the moment in front of you. So take your hand and place it just in front of your face and go, as if you were trying to blow on a mirror. And do that once or twice. And then do it with your mouth closed. So you're constricting the back of your throat at least by 50%. And do it as you breathe out. Now we're going to practice a couple of rounds of this ocean breathing, Ujjayi breath as it's known in Sanskrit. So as you breathe out, you're making that small little whispering sound, and as you breathe in through your nose. So we'll try for 5 rounds of that. So exhale and inhale. And lengthen your out breath. Return to normal breathing. And this time we'll do another 5 rounds. Now what does the out breath, what does the ocean breath, this Ujjayi breathing do? What it does is it cuts down the amount of oxygen going in, going out of your body. And as you breathe in, this time we're going to do it breathing in as well as breathing out. You're actually cutting down your oxygen going in by 50%, but it's a bit like a pressure on a hose. It's as if you put your finger on the end of the hose, and as the breath comes into your body, you're cutting it off. It comes in much stronger, much deeper, and goes deep down into cellular level into your body. From that, it enables you to really relax, really come in to center yourself, to focus yourself. It's a very powerful breathing practice. So we'll try 5 rounds now, making that lovely ocean breath on the in-breath, on the out-breath. So exhale and inhale. And again, not forgetting to extend the out-breath. And notice any sensations in your body. Make the last round your last round, and finish on the out breath. And return to normal breathing. And just notice how your body is now, how your heart possibly has slowed down, how centered, how focused you might feel, and any sensations in your body. Making our way now into down dog. So down dog, hands wide open shoulders, feet in or hip width apart or together. Grip the floor with your fingertips, parallel your index fingers, and drop into your ocean breath. Float forward into plank. And step forward into down doggy lunge. Line up your right foot with the fingers of your right hand, line up toes in line with fingers. Walk your hands forwards 6 or 8 inches, hands shoulder width apart, drop your head, look back towards your back foot. Return to your ocean breath. And switch legs. Step back into down dog and lower to the floor, coming into locust one. Tops of arm, hands on floor, head and shoulders off the floor. Squeeze heels together, inner shins, inner thighs, tighten your glutes. Return to your ocean breath. Child's pose. Arms out in front, keep arms active. Come up onto the tops of your hands. More doable, heels together, knees together. No, sorry, more difficult, heels together, knees together. More doable, knees apart, heels together. Back into locust and coming into locust 2. Arms off the floor, legs off the floor. Squeeze, tighten your glutes. Turn your thumbs up, bring your thumbs closer together. And lower your arms and cobra arms and just keep your legs off the floor, forearms vertical, head and shoulders off the floor. And down dog. If you wish, bring your down dog for a walk this time by bending one knee deeply and pushing into the heel of the other foot at the same time. Moving with your breath. And make your way to standing at the back of your mat. Place your hands on your hips and moving into high lunge. Step forward with attitude and intention and attitude with your right foot. Lift your back heel to vertical, torso upright, squeeze your elbows back behind you. Sink down, stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Look up. And pivot to the back of the mat. Lift your right heel up to vertical. Bend your front knee, sink down. And stand up and step your feet together. And coming into power pose, hands bound, clasp your hands and place your thumbs on the small of your back behind you. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, lower your hips, round your back, bring your forehead to your knees, lift your arms off your back, stretch your knuckles up, sit back in your throne. Inhale, press down, stand up, and coming into mountain, hands to your heart, close your eyes, turn into your ocean breath. Coming into twisted power pose, bend your knees, lower your hips, and then cross your body and bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Press top hand into bottom hand, so that endeavour to line up your thumbs with your sternum. And then knees in line with each other, and then knees in line with hips. Be careful not to push your hip off to the side as you do this. And then sit back in your throne. Roll the ribs back, the shoulder back, look down towards your toes. Inhale, press down, stand up, and switch to the other side. Bend your knees, lower your hips, and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And press top hand into bottom hand. Roll ribs back, roll shoulder back, look down at front feet. Press down, stand up, lift your arms overhead, biceps brushing off your ears, bend your knees, round your back, bring your forehead to your knees, stretch your arms out in front, engage your core. Press down, stand up, and come and sit down. And moving into cosmic abs. It's our favourite pose. Shift your weight onto bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Shift your weight onto your right hip and start to bicycle your knees up and down. Start to bicycle your arms out, up and down in and out to the left, and count 5. And switch to the other hip and arms to the other side. Moving your shoulders and arms, moving your knees all the way in and out. And switch. And switch. And switch. And release. Moving into staff pose. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Place the heel of your hands on the floor. Sit tall. Push through your heels. Squeeze your inner shins in. Inner thighs. Engage your quads. Lift your gaze. And moving into boat pose. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips on the floor, stretch your arms out in front, knees together, just lift your feet so your toes are just off the floor. Stay here, more doable, more difficult, lift your legs up. And coming into bridge pose, come and lie on your back, bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, lift your hips off the floor, walk your arms in underneath, clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers, press down with your feet into the floor, lift your hips up even higher, tighten your glutes. And gently release to the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. Make your way to standing and eagle arms. Lift your left arm and wrap the right underneath, hug the midline, or simply bring your forearms together, your palms together, and then lift your elbows up. Press down equally with the four corners of both feet into the floor, squeeze your shins in, engage your core, lift your gaze. And release. And walk to the back of your mat and moving into high lunge. Inhale your arms up, step forward, big step. Bend your front knee, lift your back heel up to vertical, lift the back of your back knee up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Lower your arms and pivot to the back of the mat. And lower your arms and step your feet together. Coming into elevated thunderbolt. Knees together, heels together, turn your toes under. Sit back in your heels, sit tall. Hands together. Return to your ocean breath. Make your way into 8 angle pose. Place your hands on the floor. Walk your knees back. Bend your elbows. Lower your chin to the floor, your chest to the floor. Walk your hands, arms back in cobra arms so that your forearms are vertical. Toes turned under. Knees on the floor. Lift hips up. Chin on the floor. Stretch your legs out behind you and moving into topsy-turvy superhero. Lift your arms out in front. Turn your palms towards each other. Lift your right arm and the opposite leg off the floor, flex and point. Press the edge of the left hand into the floor, lift your elbow off the floor. Press the top of the right foot into the floor, lift your right knee off the floor, gaze out in front. And switch to the other side. Opposite arm, opposite leg off the floor. Bring your hands and place them one on top of the other in front of you and place your head on the floor. Rest, return to your ocean breath. Moving to locust with knees bent, arms by your side, turn your palms up, knees together, and then bend your knees and bring your heels to your hips. Keep that, and then lift your head and shoulders off the floor. See if you can lift your thighs off the floor. And release. Place your arms and cobra arms by your ribs, forearms vertical, squeeze your elbows towards each other. Press the tops of your feet on the floor, flare your toes. Come through the gateway of your arms, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Squeeze your inner heels, your inner legs, your glutes. Move your ears back. Turn toes under and lift up into down dog. And stepping into no hand lunge, step your right foot forward and then pivot your back foot so that your heel comes to the floor. Line up your front heel so it bisects the arch of your back foot, and then clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers and allow your head to drop, and then stretch your knuckles up towards the ceiling, bringing your arms to vertical or beyond. Press your back foot into the floor, engage your quad, allow your head to drop. Lower your hands to your back, straighten your front knee, stand up, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out, bend your front knee, and then hinge forward and bring your head towards the inside of your front foot. Lift your arms up to vertical, stretch your knuckles up, engage the quad of the back leg. Lower your hands, arms, straighten your front knee, stand up and step your feet together. Step your feet wide apart, turn your right foot out, line up your front heel so it bisects the arch of your back foot. moving into warrior two. Square your hips, your shoulders towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale your arms up. And just check that both hands are in line with your shoulders. And then bend your right knee, sink down. Move your right knee out in line with your second toe. And again, checking you're not leaning over your front knee. I'll just demonstrate what leaning over the front knee looks like. That's it there. Okay, see my torso? Now I'm correcting myself. Okay, it's very hard to do this because you're on the opposite side. Okay, there it is there. Okay, look out over your front hand arm and then bend your front knee, sink down. Keep moving your front knee out. Keep pressing your back foot into the floor, engaging your quad. And then switch to the other end. Straighten your front knee, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out, and then bend your left knee. And again, checking where your torso is in relation to your front knee, checking where your hands are in relation to your shoulders. Look out over your left hand arm, sink down, keep moving your front knee out in line with the root of your second toe. Press the back foot into the floor, engage your quad. Press down, stand up, turn your left foot in and moving into wide leg forward fold. So both feet, toes are in line with each other. The root of the second toe is lined up with the middle of your ankle. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, place your hands on the floor, lift your head, look up. Hands under shoulders, so there's a good space between your hips and under your armpits. Engage your quads, squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs towards each other. Press your feet down into the floor. Place your hands on your hips, bend your knees slightly, squeeze your elbows together, push down, stand up. Move into Trikonasana, turn your right foot out. Sometimes you might like to use a block in this, or bring a hand to the outside of your right knee. Inhale your arms up, and again hands in line with shoulders. And this time, look out over your right hand arm, and then lean forward. This time your arm moving your torso over your front leg, and place your hand either on your leg or on the floor. Lift your top arm up to vertical. Press down with your back foot into the floor. Engage the quads of both legs. Lift your right ear off your shoulder. Top hand, arm, elbow over shoulder, wrist over elbow. Press down and stand up and switch to the other end. Right foot in, left foot out. Inhale your arms up. And then exhale, reach out over your front leg and place your hand either on the block or on the floor. And again, make sure your back foot, the root of the second toe, lines up with the middle of your ankle. Make sure your elbows over your shoulder. Engage your quads. Inhale, press down, stand up, left foot in, and moving into reverse mudra. And you might like to use your blocks or just use the manuals to demonstrate. So you place your blocks towards the front of your mat. Standing towards the back of your mat, lift your arms up. Step forward with your right foot and turn your back foot out slightly. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front of the mat. Inhale and exhale, hinge forward and place your hands on the blocks. Toenails in line with fingernails. Then draw your right hip back, your left hip forward. Engage your quads. Float your shoulders over your wrists. And gaze out in front. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch legs. Front foot back, lift your arms up, back foot forward, hinge forward, place your hands on the blocks or on the floor, and then squeeze your back hip, front inner thigh towards each other. Look out in front, float your shoulders over your wrists. And come and make your way to lying down and moving into reclined eagle, lying on our backs. Bring both knees into your chest and cross your right thigh over your left thigh, and if you can take the double wrap, take the double wrap, or else place outside shin to outside shin. And then lift your left arm and wrap the right underneath and hug the midline. Forearms parallel to the ceiling, shins parallel to the ceiling. Press low back into the floor. And release, and switch the cross of your legs and switch the cross of your arms. And release, and coming in to thread the needle. Place both feet on the floor, lift your right foot and place the outside edge of it on top of your left knee. Then lift your left foot off the floor, knee into chest, thread your hands between your legs and clasp that left knee. Or you can clasp your thigh if you wish. Or you can keep your left foot on the floor and not clasp your leg at all. And switch feet. Lift your left foot, place it on top of your right knee and bring your right knee into your chest. line your belly and coming into bow pose. Bend your knees, clasp your ankles with your hands, squeeze your knees together. Use your legs, kick your heels up and back. Use your legs to lift your legs. Tighten your glutes. And release. Come into down dog. Moving into half forward fold, walk your feet forward, place your hands under your shoulders, some 6 to 8 inches in front of your toes, lift your head, look up, keep a slight bend in your knees. Practicing your ocean breathing. Walk hands back, line up fingernails with toenails and come into full forward fold, still with a slight bend in your knees. Allow your head to drop. Press the heel of your hand towards the floor. If this is not a mission for you, you can bring your hands to the outside of your shins or place your hands on blocks. So make the practice work for you. Coming back into mountain, feet together, hands together, close your eyes, turn in. Notice the sensations in your body as you use your ocean breath and making your out breath just a little bit longer than your in breath, but not forcing anything. Make your way to the floor. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. And place your right hand on the floor, lift your left arm up, cross your body and bring your elbow to the outside of your knees. And you can either have your arm straight or your elbow bent. Press knees into elbows, elbows into knees, draw right shoulder back, draw right ribs back. Look over front shoulder. Sitting tall. And switch to the other side. Place left hand behind you, lift right arm up, elbow into knee, knee into elbow. And be careful not to push your knees out of the way, keep them fairly central. Roll left shoulder back, left ribs back, look over front shoulder. And release. Just check the time here. Come and line your backs and come into happy baby. Bring both knees into your chest. Turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling and clasp the outside edges of your feet with your hands. You might like to use a strap either to do this. Separate knees wider than body, feet wider than shoulders. Draw down on the soles of your feet. Push up with the soles of your feet into your hands. Press your lower back into the floor. Now bring both knees into your chest and give yourself the most delicious, loving, kindly hug. You might like to roll around and massage your spine ever so slightly. And prepare for relaxation. Lying completely relaxed. Stretch arms out, stretch legs out. And tuning into your ocean breathing for the period of your relaxation. Just the very slightest whispering breath, extending it on the out breath. Starting to deepen your breathing. You might like to start awakening yourself by moving your hands, your feet, or you can give yourself a stretch if you wish. And you can stay here or bend your knees, roll to one side and make your way to sitting. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart, close your eyes, turn in one last time to honour ourselves, each other, the practice and the vulnerability that's in each and every one of us. We close with one eye. Exhale, inhale. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice, and see you on the mat. And if you like this video, do like, share or subscribe to it.